Funsize Show!
Welcome to Honestly Honesty, a female-led podcast with real, unfiltered conversations on creativity and life.
We share inspiring stories, meaningful insights, and honest moments that celebrate both wins and setbacks.
The three of us are here today to talk about what this show is. And we wanted to share more insight around why we're creating it, why we think this should exist, and our intentions behind the whole entire show.
Episode number 1.
This has like one main theme.
Yeah.
Which is,
where do we find inspiration outside of our fields?
Yeah, it's a great question. This is like a way for us to explore, get to know people, explore creativity. We will have on one female guest. One? Can it be more than one?
I think it totally could be.
Maybe whatever we want
20.
it to be.
The ones we have lined up right now are just one, but who knows? In the future, we might have way more than one.
Absolutely. So we'll have a guest on every week, and we will center that whole guest experience around the question, which is, where do you find inspiration outside of your field?
And I think all three of us, we got the inspiration from this. We were at a conference in Memphis, and they were giving like advice like that, like looking in your own life, finding inspiration outside. And we kind of thought, if we were going to have a podcast and we wanted to talk to really cool creatives and learn from them, where are they getting inspiration outside of their daily work that they're doing? And so we're excited to share that with y'all.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of podcasts that are like doing the like interview designer, talk to us about your day to day, like how do you do this cool thing? There's so many great resources for that. But I think that the Memphis conference, and also Funsize and Natalie ethos, which is like, hey, go do something and make something else that isn't design. It will make you a better designer, is I think a really amazing concept. So we want to talk to more people and find out, what are you doing to inspire yourself that isn't necessarily design or whatever your
not tied to your day-to-day.
Yeah, not tied to your day-to-day.
I feel like, Natalie, you do a really good job of that in general. Like you, or at least not just you, but I feel like you are a good inspiration for that for myself when I like first started at Funsize, about like just trying new things, and also just Funsize's ethos and method weeks and things like that. But I don't know if you want to share some of those things that you've gotten yourself into.
But first, no one knows who Natalie is.
Oh, yeah. When you share.
So we are 3 women in design. We all come from pretty different paths. Like Brooke, you came from a career in sales.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I came from a career in production and advertising. Natalie came, I guess, maybe more of a traditional way out. Yeah, but pretty different. But we're all really drawn to this like really natural, deep conversation. That's like, not the surfacey stuff. I'll introduce myself since I'm talking, and then
that works.
So I am Nicole. I am a product designer here at Funsize. I'm also an artist. I really love what I call big talk, which is just basically the opposite of small talk. And I'm a mom of 2 girls. Brooke, you want to tell us who you are?
I can go, yeah. My name's Brooke. I'm also a designer here at Funsize, and I don't know anything about myself right now.
You were exploring creativity this year.
Oh, yes. Yeah. This year I am, not just this year, but this year specifically, I'm exploring what it means for me to be a creative and really focusing on output. No matter the cost, like trying to get over the perfectionist in myself and just create things and not try to have an end result.
Love it.
And I am Natalie Armandaris. I am a co-founder at Funsize, but also a senior design director. For those that don't know, I founded the company with my husband, Anthony, about 13 plus years ago.
Crazy.
I know. But yeah, aside from Funsize stuff, I'm a mom to an amazing 6-year-old little boy. He's turning 7 in July. And I think I'm a fan of, I don't care if it's big or small talk, but I am a fan of just honest conversations, like from the heart. Like when I ask you how you're doing, like I want to know the truth. I don't want to know like the bullshit stuff, or, like to actually get down and deep and have those conversations with people where it's like, okay, I want to get to know you. I want to hear your truth.
Yeah. Like if your day isn't going well, like I asked, tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
How is your day going?
It's been overwhelming.
That's okay.
Yeah. But I mean, there have been, ups and downs every day. But I think the biggest thing is just at the end of it, reflecting and back and trying to kind of hang your hat on the highlights.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. How's your day going? How are you doing?
My day's going pretty well. Yesterday was really stressful for me. My dog had a pretty major surgery, and she's almost 13. So it's, that's pretty stressful. But I actually just got a text from my husband saying that she's like coming out of it, like doing really well. So I'm exhausted, but I'm like hopeful and excited. How are you, Nicole?
I love that. I'm pretty good. Definitely in the thick of it today, onboarding on a new client. Onboarding is always a little difficult. Very excited to be here with you guys recording. I'm kind of in my head today. I was going to share this with you because I feel like it's kind of related. I was at a party this weekend, kid's birthday party. Love them. I got caught in like a circle of moms talking. And so cliche, the conversation was about grocery shopping. And I said, my husband actually does all the grocery shopping in our house. He also does all the cooking. And the woman looked at me and she said, what do you do with all your free time? And I thought, no one would ask a man that question. I was just like, I'm so in my head about it. I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. But anyway, just totally not related to what we were just talking about, but just something that's been floating around my head. I've been munching on.
That's very interesting that, that your time would be different too. And anyways, that I do think it's not completely off base of like, why we're here, not directly connected, but just the fact that we wanted to create a space for women's perspectives or female identifying perspectives. And I think that all three of us, we have different backgrounds, but we do have one thing in common, and that's that we identify as women and she, her. And I think that we wanted to create a space that women could come and share their unique life experience, specifically in a creative realm. And that's really important to us. That's part of the reason why we're here today and why we want to bring some really badass creatives on to share their perspectives.
Totally. I think being a woman is like completely, it's shaped my entire life, like how I work, how I lead, how I do everything. I think, Natalie, you said this before, and I'm sure you feel this way too, Brooke, but like often, especially in the past, not at Funsize, as many times that you're the only woman in the room in work situations and whatnot, especially in my career in advertising. I mean, totally. It's great to be able to have a space where we can just have the females in the room and really celebrate that. Not to exclude anyone. It's just more celebrating that perspective, which is weirdly still really underrepresented, in my opinion. I mean, we still have like this woman having those very specific ideas about like the man and woman role at home is a sign of that, right?
Yeah, I think in an ideal world that didn't exist, right? Like if we wanted to live in some alternate reality. But I think the real nature of it is those conversations, right? It's like this weird perception that if we're not being a mom or we're not grocery shopping or we're not cleaning or cooking, that we aren't doing anything, or that being a mother isn't a full-time job. And if you actually have a job and are a mother, that you technically don't have two jobs. Like, yeah. I keep hearing that argument over and over again. And it's like, it's draining. And it's, going back to what Brooke was saying, it's just having that space where we can talk about this stuff and we can feel frustrated. We can sound frustrated. We can be frustrated.
Yeah.
Or we can like celebrate each other, like whatever we're feeling as women or as like female identifying, just to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
And not feel like you have to wear some kind of mask or like hide behind some veil of like positivity or whatever it is.
Smile more, girls.
Yeah. Or act like it's not a real thing, you know, like that is very real for us, and it is different. And that is what kind of like shapes our perspectives. But I'm excited to like have that space too. Like you're saying, like to feel those things and be real in that sense.
Absolutely. These kind of stories too, like, and these connections that we're all really into, like they really inspire me. I think that might be the answer to that question if it was asked me, like, what inspires you outside of your, you know, day-to-day work? There are many things, but like connection with people, like real meaningful connection, hearing stories. I always love hearing people's backstories. It's just really, people aren't where they're at today without a whole backstory. So
like many probably stories within those too, for sure.
Yeah, and many failures and many great times, but like we didn't all just get here in a perfect way, right?
Right, like peeling back the onion a little bit, you know, but then also like thinking about growth of being in a position that we're in too, where like if you choose to become a mom, right, like how does that change you? How does that change where you find your like creativity, where you find your passion, but also like, yeah, like talking about the growth of just
our whole journey,
I don't know,
the growth of our journeys.
Yeah. And even to just like kind of like we were saying around you know, bringing women on and creating the space. That's not to say that like the focus here is like you're you know, like you as a woman, as a creative, you know, or like, you know how they say like, you know, I'm not a woman CEO, I am a CEO, or like, you know, fill in the blank with the title. And the idea is not to like put a spotlight on necessarily that. It's just about giving women the space to share how they got there. So
that's a hot button for me.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I think that I got trapped up in this a few years ago where I think we were trying to name a channel in our Slack channel that was very popular with the female identifying crew at Funsize. And we explored many different things. And one of them, somebody said, was like girl boss or something like that. And then it got like quickly pushed down because it was like, well, why can't it just be boss? And I think at the time I was like, yeah, why can't it just be boss? But I think until like we have equal representation in that world in that way, like I think calling it out isn't a terrible thing. As a matter of fact, like not calling it out might be a disservice. Like this is still a problem. Like I think Nat, you have some stats on like the podcast world is what 29% male content creators, 60% female listeners. Don't quote me on that. Oh wait, yeah. Didn't I say that right?
It's like 50-something% listeners are female, but only 20-something% are actually female creators.
That's exactly what I meant, guys. I'm dyslexic, for the record. Actually, that's not a sign of being dyslexic, what I just did. But yeah, I think there's just an unbalance still. And I got 2 girls. Like, I want them to grow up in a more even playing ground. I don't want them to go to a party and then be like, how do you manage the grocery shopping?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need to stop pointing it out. We should definitely point it out every single time. But this idea that like, you know, we're all equals, I don't think that will be a reality again until like we actually achieve equal representation. And just not even looking at careers or anything, looking at that podcast stat alone.
Yeah.
Like there is already not equal representation there.
I mean, we don't have equal representation of our body.
Exactly.
Like there's so many things happening in the world now where I feel like less and less representation and autonomy of ourselves. That's really scary.
Yeah. And I think the idea, you know, like, I don't think that we're necessarily like diminishing anyone else's voice by trying to kind of like bring other female voices up, you know. I get goosebumps just thinking about that topic.
But I think, who was it? Were you somebody here did that like riddle where it's like about a kid getting helped by?
I think
Do you remember?
Yeah, it's your son. Something like someone.
Yeah, it was so a. Oh, okay.
Well,
I don't want to
pull
butcher
it out. I will be really impressed.
Because I think I'm the one that said it, because I saw someone else said it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that, because I fell into that trap.
I fell
was
into
like,
the trap too.
WTF? It was something like a father and a son got into a car accident, and they went to the hospital, and
the
boy was the doctor's son, but the doctor was not the boy's father, who was the doctor. Something like that.
And
none of us thought.
And the doctor, the answer to it is like, well, some people were like, oh, well, maybe the boy had two fathers, but it's like, no, the doctor is a female. She's, you know, and it's just like, I went there. I was like, oh, maybe, you know, like it was a Modern Family or whatever. And it's like, oh, I can't believe that happened to me.
I mean, I think that's just how programmed it is.
You know, that's funny. I actually saw that riddle for the first time, like Alana Glazer on her, she was on a podcast. And if you know her, she's like very feminist, very like progressive in those types of things. And it even got her. And she was like, holy cow. Like it's crazy how embedded all of this is into our psyche, you know, that you don't even realize that you associate doctor with man.
CEO, doctor, president, like they're all, when you think about those things and you say those words, you think of a man. Even women do. So I feel like until that's like flipped, then we can stop calling out girl boss. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the term girl boss, but because I don't like the way it sounds. And I'm not opposed to saying boy boss too.
I think it'd be interesting to like kind of think about these. I know that this is not really what we're digging in. We're kind of just like setting our stage for what we want our podcast to be. But I think those things are going to be inherently like societal always, you know, like there probably are, you know, there are societies that are matriarchal where that is the case. It's not our society. And I think that that's like not a bad thing to like, we all want equal representation, like all throughout the board, not just with gender, although that is like our specific life experiences and like perspectives. I think it kind of goes pretty deep within that. But I think for, you know, like our space, I think it's like we want to bring these women to the forefront, and we ourselves as women have very specific life experiences that we want to share in a space that feels safe. And I think that's definitely what we're trying to do.
100%.
100%. 100%. We got some cool things coming up.
Yes, I'm excited.
Our first guest is Natalie's guest.
I am super stoked about it. Her name is Donna Coro. She's been a very, longtime friend of ours. I met her through Anthony and her husband Shane. They grew up together. And she's going to be in the studio talking with us about where she gets her inspiration from as an artist. She just, recently launched in a room at the Male Wolf that opened up in Houston not that long ago. So I know she's really busy, but I'm very grateful that she's going to come and spend some time with us and just kind of share what's on her mind.
Very excited for that. And I think we have another guest lined up. I'm not going to say the name, but she's a female artist, previously here from Austin, and now living in New York City. She plays in both a band and also does solo music and music production. And she's just all around a really creative and amazing human.
We're so excited to chat with both of them.
Yeah. So is that it? We got anything else to cover? Does everyone understand what this podcast is about? If you don't, raise your hand.
I think so. I'm excited to dig into it.
Yeah, same here. And I'm excited to see, there's so much possibility. There's so many people that we can talk to in the creative field. Creative meaning, artist, musician. It can mean, anything, any
Architect.
right brain person. Yeah, architect. roller coaster designer. I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
that
my.
would be fun.
That would be real interesting. Yeah. So if you are a female identifying creative and are in the Austin area, we might want to talk to you. So you should hit us up. I don't know how we do that. How do we do that? On the website?
Yeah, you can hit us up on the website. It's show.funsize.co, and you should be able to find a contact form there. Or you can email us at howdy, HOWDY, @funsize.co.
Nice. It's a good thing you're here.
Yeah, you'll reach at least one of us.
Cool. Well,
I guess that's a wrap.
that's a wrap.
Honestly, honesty, you'll be hearing from us soon.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.